Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. Sean Monahan is off to a great start with the Montreal Canadiens this year. Should General Manager Kent Hughes start negotiating a new contract with him now, or do you think it's too early? Stu, what do you say?
I think it's still a little early. As much as I love Sean Monahan as a player, and I think he's a really good guy, and I think he's a perfect fit on this team. With all the injuries he's had, Hockey Night in Canada last Saturday did a diagram of Monahan's body with all the different operations he's had. It reminded me of that little operation game when we were kids where you do the things. And so there's a lot of wear and tear on that body. Knock on wood, I'd love to see Sean Monahan stay healthy. I think you wait until maybe midway through the season. If he can show that he can stay healthy for half a season, I think that's the time you try and re-sign him. And I think re-signing him would be good for this Canadiens team. He fits in. He likes playing in Montreal. He likes being around these young kids. They like him. They respect him. He's just turned 29. He's not that old. If you could get him at a 3-year contract, I wouldn't give him more than that. Between 3-4 million, somewhere like that. I think that would work. I mean, there's also the possibility you trade him at the trade deadline, maybe get a first-round pick and hope you re-sign him in the summer. That would be the perfect scenario, but that's gambling. You might lose him. And at this point with this team, they have so many young prospects. I think moving forward, you still need some veterans and you need some key veterans. And I think he could be a really key veteran for 2 or 3 years moving forward with this team as they rebuild.
Stewie, you were thinking operation. I was thinking the $6 million man. They can rebuild him. You know, he can be better than he was before. But yeah, I think with Monahan, where I'm at is I love him as a player, but I don't think good teams sign players like this that they can trade at the deadline when they're rebuilding. I think that if he comes back in the summer again, that's fantastic. I think the Canadiens would be happy to bring him back in. But at the salary that he's being paid this year, at the pace that he's playing, the level of intelligence that he shows, even playing on the penalty kill at times, the value for him at the trade deadline is going to be immense. And you might not get a first-round pick. You might get an A-level prospect instead. Yeah. And that pushes your rebuild forward much more. So teams that are desperate for some depth down the middle, down the stretch, there's always a good contender that needs another center. I just think there's too much value in a Sean Monahan trade to sign Sean Monahan right
But is what you're going to get in the trade more valuable than maybe playing Monahan with Slafkovsky for 2 more years and get Slafkovsky where you want him to be? I think that's something else they have to weigh in.
It's a good question, but I guess that's why they have Kirby Dach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair to say a great addition, great guy in the dressing room, does a lot of the details of the game each and every night, which allows a good teaching for a lot of their young guys. Is there a big rush to get him signed? I don't think so. I mean, we touched on some of his injuries that he's had. He's under contract for the year. Let the year play out a little bit. See if we can keep him on the healthy side, keep him contributing and allowing some of the kids to understand what needs to be done at the NHL level. And, then you can address it, whether it be before the trading deadline or, see how healthy he is over the long season. But a great guy to have in your dressing room. But as far as urgency to get him signed, I wouldn't have any big sense of urgency to sign him up sooner than later.
Yeah, and from Kirby Dach's perspective also, I mean, he might be wondering, if he can stay healthy. Like, I mentioned like 3 years, maybe around $3 million. If he might get more than that, and maybe thinking in the back of his mind, so I'm going to get more than that if I just go to free agency rather than signing. So both of them, the Canadiens and Monahan have a lot of things to think about when it comes to whether the Habs want to re-sign him and whether he wants to re-sign here earlier rather than testing the free agency market again next summer.
All right, well, do you agree with the panel or disagree? Let us know in the comments section below, and make sure to go to Hockey Inside Out to check out our full episode.